So I was one of the few people who actually seemed to have enjoyed Justice League. I mean, it was far from perfect and had quite a few glaring issues, but I thought it was fairly entertaining. I didn't really mind it at all, but at the same time, I did want to see what the original vision for the movie had been. Because it was supposed to be a Zack Snyder movie, even the credits said so, but due to unfortunate circumstances, Joss Whedon had to step in and finish it, doing extensive reshoots, etc., etc. And basically ended up doing his own thing with the movie while placating to what the studio wanted also. Which meant the end result was indeed a bit of a mess in more ways than one. And then the rumors of a Snyder cut started coming out, him even saying the finished cut existed, in an unfinished state with a lot of the special effects and CGI missing. And to be honest, I didn't expect a studio to release an unfinished movie. But I also didn't expect them to pour millions into finishing a movie that already lost money. Neither option really seemed reasonable, and yet here we are a few years later. Tens of millions of dollars later, with a finished 4-hour cut of the original vision. And truth be told, I was excited for this, probably more excited than I should have been, because Snyder did deliver on pretty much everything he promised. It wasn't all just talk. And this does seem like pretty much exactly what the movie should have been from the very beginning. But at the same time, it's still a 4-hour movie and I've already seen a version of this before. I mean, I can't erase Joss Whedon's film from my memory, so this did feel like rewatching a movie in a lot of ways. It was never going to give me that fresh experience I kinda wished and hoped for, and because of that the runtime did feel quite long, but in its defense, it is a long movie. And at the same time, I don't think it necessarily felt longer than it was either. It might have even felt slightly shorter than 4 hours. But there's no getting around the fact that it's a long movie and does move fairly slowly as well. There's quite a few scenes with a ton of exposition explaining a lot of what's going on, for instance. And I don't even really see a way around that because there's just so much going on in this movie. And I do understand why they cut a lot of it originally, because you couldn't fit everything in and keep the runtime anywhere near 2 hours. Now, could there be a middle ground? Possibly, but this version was never about compromises. It's Zack's vision fully realized, and that's exactly what we got here. The story also makes a whole lot more sense, and as a whole the movie just feels more cohesive. The action and everything just feels more energetic and well handled. Like the bomb scene early on, I remember not liking that, but this time around I really enjoyed it. But we do also get way too many slow motion shots too, because Zack loves his slow-mo. And we do get some strange decisions like presenting a major blockbuster like this in 4:3 aspect ratio. I've heard some of the reasoning, but it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. But to be fair, it didn't really bother me either, and it's a good looking movie. And overall I did enjoy this. I liked a lot about it. Perhaps most of all how it set up so many different things for the DCEU. I mean, Zack served Warner Brothers a whole heap of possibilities on a silver platter here. There are so many threads in this that need to be tied up in future movies. Which brings up the question, is that the real reason they did this? Is this movie canon now? Are they going to continue building on the foundations this laid down? I mean, at this point it does seem like too little too late for that, realistically speaking. But there's just so much juicy potential here that just begs to be explored. And I can safely say that I'm more excited about the DCEU after seeing this than I've probably ever been. So I do really hope they do something with this, because otherwise it does feel like a waste. But at the same time I'm not holding my breath, but I remain cautiously optimistic. Other than that though, what more can I say? I thought it was pretty good and I'm thinking of giving this a solid 7. Boop. But would I recommend it? That's a tough one. If you're a fan of superhero movies, probably. But for the average casual viewer though, the 4-hour runtime really is quite a steep barrier to entry. So if it sounds interesting, maybe give it a peek, otherwise don't. After all, I'm not your dad. But hey, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a thumbs up or sub to the channel because that would be fantastic.